So quite a bit of turbulence hitting the aviation industry, be it the slower economic growth or the trade tension between the U.S. and China. The grounding of the Boeing fleet of 737 MAX is absolutely key. Let's get a bit of a sense of where the story could go. We're now joined by the Spicejet chairman and managing director, Ajay Singh, of course, fast-growing Indian low-cost carrier in India, and you notched the biggest ever deal with an order for 100 737 MAX jets with an option for 50 more planes. This was back in 2017. The planes are still on the ground. How much appetite is there from your end to pick up a few more?
The India market, despite the doom and gloom of today, in the long term will continue to grow. We have absolutely no doubt that India, with its 1.3 billion people who really want to travel and who want to fly, will need many, many more planes than exist in India today. So we believe that the issues that the industry faces today are actually opportunities for us to reset our model, make sure that we bring our costs down, and find growth.
Some of the people I've been speaking to here in the last few hours, they made the point that we could get a surprise from Spicejet with an additional order for some of the 737 MAXs. Is that realistic? Is that really in the cards?
Well, that's still under discussion, but we will certainly look to see what we can do, because we have a requirement going for several years, and growth with just 3% of India flying today, there is going to be great growth in the next few years and decades, and therefore we think that this would be an opportunity for us to provide for that growth.
Give me a sense of what the conversations with Boeing have been like about the recertification of the 737 MAX. How soon can they get these planes back into the sky?
I think what Boeing has said to us is that the technical fix is in place, and it's a certification process that they are going through at this time. Of course, with the accidents that have happened, the FAA is being extremely cautious, and as they should be. But the expectation appears to be that Boeing should receive certification by the end of this year.
So by the end of the year, there could be some progress. If there is a disparity between regulators, so let's go with an assumption that the FAA gives a green light, but some of the Asian regulators say, wait, hold on, still a red flag here. Do you fly or you don't fly?
Well, obviously, we can only fly when the Indian regulator certifies us to fly. So we are hoping that the Indian regulator will work closely with FAA. Of course, regulators will have their own time frames, but remember that FAA is actually an extremely reliable regulator, and we expect that other regulators will follow pretty quickly after the FAA. The Europeans might take a few weeks. The Chinese and the Indians might, be somewhere in between. But it's a question of time. It could be a few weeks or a little bit more. But we expect that certainly in the first quarter of next year, most regulators should have certified this and the aircraft should be flying.
The other component of your growth strategy I want to talk about is your push into the Middle East and you looking to set up a hub here. How much progress have you made, and how do you put up a fight against an increasingly consolidated United Arab Emirates opposition?
Our focus is largely the India market. We have 11 flights from India into Dubai every single day. And we are looking to consolidate that by putting some flights into our new hub, which is Ras Al Khaimah. We will also have flights going from Ras Al Khaimah back to India. And we will try and see if we can get some of our passengers to get into Ras Al Khaimah and then use the AOC that we are getting in Ras Al Khaimah, the airline that we are setting up there, to do short-haul trips into Eastern Europe.
Let's talk about some of the other opportunities, because the market is seeking clarity on progress when it comes to the trade negotiations between the U.S. and China. Is that something that's on your radar as well? Could that unlock new momentum?
I think that India is incredibly important in this time when US and China have some disputes. I think India, with its size and the size of its market, is incredibly important. And I think it would be wise for us to leverage those strengths.
So where would the key opportunity be here specifically? Is there anything outside of India and outside the Middle East that you'd be looking at?
Well, at this time we want to consolidate in India and the Middle East, but there certainly will be opportunities in terms of our purchasing power, in terms of trying to get aircraft, in terms of trying to access certain locations, which previously was tough for us to do.
Ajay, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much for running us through some of your thinking there. That's Ajay Singh, the chairman of Spicejet. He's also the managing director there. Nera.